What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's show, the Frisco Report. We're back at it, full effect, and just in time for possibly the biggest game of the year, Mike, for the Cowboys. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hope the week's great for you, brother. Hope the week's great for you. Lots of blessings sending your way.
Yeah, likewise, bro. Likewise. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Appreciate everybody that's dropping by now, and checking this out on the replay. Make sure you guys pound this video. When we get over 60 likes, the Cowboys win. So everybody pound that like button. Let's get all the mojo we can on our side because we're gonna need it. You hear about the blue jerseys, you hear about the Saints on the road, all this stuff. We need all the good mojo we can get to win this game because, Mike, like I said, this is a must win, right, Mike? So, or else. So, Mike, if you could just, say, how big of a game is this for the Cowboys in your opinion?
This is a big game, Joe. I made a video talking about how important November is, and when the Cowboys have a losing record in November, they miss the playoffs. That the stats are there, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they went 1-3. Luckily, they won on the first half of the season. They stumbled real hard in November. That 1-3 record, that hurts. You have to capitalize with the win in December. That playoff margin, it's likely there. But when you look at the future of the schedule, we got 4 out of the 5 after this Saints game. 4 out of 5 is NFC East opponents. Those games aren't likely. Lightly. So you have to go in here and impact this game and get a winning formula going without the head coach.
Yeah, for sure, man. You nailed it right on the head, and the facts are there. When the Cowboys, don't get those wins in November, they don't make the playoffs. So we don't know. Usually, when that has happened, something has happened in that season. So injuries, losses, inconsistencies, and we're kind of right now we're kind of in the in that flux. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, losing 3 out of the last 4, and now we're on the road. How we do on prime time. We're not all that good in prime time games either. So, but you laid it out, man. You laid it out, and I've been calling it. This is the NFC East tournament. Started last week with the Philly and the Giants, and now the rest of the way, the NFC East tournament is on. It's on. I mean, like you said, all the opponents. It's a rock'em sock'em. And luckily, we have that lead, like you said, Mike, because in November, you got to win, and we didn't. So, but it starts with the Saints games, guys. Let us know in the comments in the chat box. Is this a big game for you? A must win? Let us know in the chat box if you believe this is a must win for the Cowboys. Mike, the importance of this game is, you want to take momentum, a win on the road. And then you have a little mini bye because you got 10 days between this game and the next game. But then the gauntlet begins. Like, it's going to be a bruiser of a task to get through this gauntlet. I don't think any of these games are easy by any means, Mike. But that momentum has done really well for the Cowboys early in the season. And that's why I feel like you have to get this win at all costs. Even if somebody dies. All right?
It's that serious because if the Cowboys win, if the Cowboys would win, even if they go 2-2, I would agree with the comment that said it's not a must win, but it's close. If they went 2-2, I would agree with that. But when you start stacking losses like the Cowboys did against the Broncos, then you come out against the Atlanta Falcons and destroy them. Then you got the Chiefs. Then you got the Raiders, and you lose those games. That's 2 back-to-back losses, Joe. For a team, that's a bad taste in the mouth. And if they lose this game against the Saints, the confidence level, I don't care how competitive the Cowboys say they are, the confidence level, it dips, Joe. So you have to capitalize on this win. But you have to get this win. You have to capitalize on the win if you go get it.
Yeah. No, it is a must win. It is a must win. There's no doubt. The rest of the way are must wins because you're hoping that they're still in contention for the seeding, maybe the number one, you're only 2 games away from there. And I'm not sold on the Cardinals. They're having a tough schedule coming up as well. So, that number one spot is still in grasp. But if you take another loss, that's probably going to be out the picture. So then you're fighting for the NFC East. And I don't want the Cowboys to come out of this, like, oh, the Eagles lost last week. We're okay. We can lose another game. And then we'll turn it on with Washington. I don't want it to be like that, because if it's like that, that's not championship football. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just doing the minimum to get by. You know what I mean? And that just does not cut it in any business, any job. Just getting by doesn't get you to where you want to go. You gotta put in the work, right? So, Mike, talk to me a little bit about what concerns you as far as like on the field. Like what concerns you about this game as far as like on the field here against the Saints?
The inconsistency on offense scares me the most. We didn't score a touchdown against the Chiefs, and it took us to the fourth quarter to wake up against the Raiders after coming off the destruction of the Falcons. The inconsistency of this offense has to get it together. They're leaving the defense out on the field way too long, Joe, and you're seeing that them getting tired, and it's leading to even more points. And if the offense can burn some time, score points, and not be in the position of kicking field goals, that will build a confidence up for the offense. That'll build a confidence up for Dak Prescott, and they can go into slingshot into this December and keep stacking wins. But if they don't, and the offense seems to keep getting stagnant, it's not good. A lot of people, are talking about, Dak Prescott winning the FedEx Player of the Week award, but we still got us an L. It got us nowhere. Celebrate the small victories, but at the end of the day, there's only one big victory you want to go to, and that's the Super Bowl. And when you have performances like we had collectively on offense against the Chiefs and the Raiders, that's scary, Joe. Yes, we got back in the game, but it took us till the fourth quarter. Dak had over 200 yards in one quarter, and that was the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's the scary part about it too. I agree with everything you said there. The offense inconsistencies, some of the play calling. It seems like the air has kind of come out of the Kellen Moore, magic, whatever. Everybody was in love with him when we're going through that winning streak. But when you start losing games, you start taking a little bit deeper look. And I know we have some issues on offensive line that has some stuff to do with it. Your starting wide receivers are out and this and that. But this game, you are getting people back. So let's talk about a little bit of the positives here, Mike, as far as like what do we have on our side that gives us hope for this game, right? So you get Demarcus Lawrence back after fracturing his foot, right? So that's a really good sign for the defense that I think has been keeping the Cowboys in these games, even the ones that they lost, you know what I mean? So, and then Coop, get him back, Ceedee Lamb as well. Mike, tell me a little bit about the positives here that give fans some hope that we could win this game.
Yeah, Tyron Smith's coming off his second game back. That's a big positive for me. If Connor McGovern starts, that's 2 games where McGovern is working side by side by Tyron Smith, so they can get some camaraderie there. Yeah. And you might see less penalties, less illegal shifts, holding penalties, things of that sort. So that's going to be great for the left side. The right side, Lyle Collins. Terrence still got COVID. Lyle Collins hasn't looked really good. We've said it early on. We can't trust Lyle Collins. But he's a solid starter. So the good news is he has experience there. Okay, not trying to be a negative Nancy, just trying to bring out some positives here, right? Yeah. And then you talked about Amari Cooper. You talked about, Ceedee Lamb. Now that's big in the stretch, right? So Cedrick Wilson, Noah Brown, Malik Turner, these guys can kind of find their position, and this might open a game up for Michael Gallup. He loves the Saints. He plays well when we play them. So look for Michael Gallup to have a big game. Demarcus Lawrence, big positive there. Do I expect much from him? No, but the impact in the running game is what we've been missing. And with Micah Parsons and Lawrence, I think the Saints, yeah, Alvin Kamara's coming back too, but he's going to wish he waited another week because I don't think he's going to get a lot of yards against us with Micah Parsons back in the linebacker position and take Lawrence on that defensive line, Joe. So there is some positives there.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the head there with Demarcus Lawrence, because the key here with Lawrence is that's going to open up Golston to do his Tyron Crawford type of duties where he can kick him inside. He plays the run well. I think he's one of the better run defenders on the team right now. We lost Urban, to the injury. He's done for the year, right? So getting Lawrence back into the mix really lets you flex Golston back inside and really shut down that run with Osa. So I like that. I think that's going to be a really key to this because, I think if the Saints are going to attack us, it'll be in the running game. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to hurt us in the passing because the receivers versus our secondary, I think we got that. You know what I mean? But the running game, their style of running, that could open things up. But when you have Lawrence back and you have Golston on the field as well, and Parsons, maybe he's going to move back at linebacker in this game. So I think, that that's a very, very positive part of this game to look forward to. You know what I mean? But they can't come out here and half-ass it. They can't be like, McCarthy's not here. We're here's the substitute teacher. Let's just half-ass it. Let's show up. Let's get back home, and let's get to that mini bye week. I don't want to see that crap. If they do that, they don't want it. They don't want it. You know what I mean? So show me something. Show me something.
Yeah, absolutely. They gotta show themselves something because the show they put on November wasn't spectacular, Joe. It was kind of embarrassing after putting up all these points and kicking ass, taking names to November and just complete stop. So they got to come out here with the hungry mentality. They have the Saints ain't gonna lay down. It's a home game. It's prime time. The Saints aren't going to lay down. I don't care who's starting quarterback. Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, it don't matter, Joe. They're going to come out here, and the bar is going to be set high. And can the Cowboys' defense be physical enough? Because they come out here and play soft like they did against the Denver Broncos. We're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. Asmodeus. No 3-and-outs period. Yeah, so yeah, the offense can't do the 3-and-outs because you're gonna gas out the defense for sure. No 3-and-outs. So that's a good take there, Asmodeus. Appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat box. Shout out Phil, Primetime Phil in the chat box. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate everybody in the chat box joining us live here. We'll do some more questions here and comments here in a minute. But yeah, Mike, you're right. Sean Payton is not somebody you can roll over. He'll have the team prepared and be prepared for all the sneaky crap that they do. They're probably gonna do some sneaky shit on special teams, and just to try to generate something and catch you off guard. That's what he does. So, Fossil better be paying attention here too in this game, man, because I'm not sold on him on Fossil as a coach. But Mike, I want to return back to the offensive side of the ball here, as far as the positives. Coop, whether or not he's going to be full, supposedly he's questionable, but I hope that we at least see him out there, even if it's a decoy capacity, Mike, because, without Cooper, the Cowboys have been 0-2 this season. And if he's not out there, that's going to be a little bit tough for the offense to move the ball in the air, I think, Mike.
Yeah, it is going to be tough, Joe. And like you said, someone said it earlier, no 3-and-outs, pedal to the metal. And that's what they got to do, man. They got to – Kellen Moore has to call – and don't get cute. The whole Cedrick – well, it would have worked if Dalton Schultz would have blocked. But then you looked at it next time Dalton Schultz went to the flat and they got that 2-point conversion, right? Don't get cute. Execute the plays you know how to execute. And go out there, go to New Orleans, and get it done.
Mm-hmm. A lot of great comments in the chat box. I'm going to highlight a couple here as we get through the conversation. Gio Chapo, Dak passed the ball in the right spot or returned the $75 million, right? Yeah, so I think there's something to be said about that as well. As far as like, is he playing up to the contract, I guess you could say. And obviously with these losses, these types of things come to the forefront. And Mike, and we were talking offline. You saw Nick Eatman even made a comment about it. Um, Expand on that. What Nick Eatman said about the Dak situation as far as how he's playing this year, I guess.
Yeah, Nick Eatman said on the break that Dak Prescott has been inaccurate, and Nick Eatman's more the aggressive beat writer for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care what anybody says. He's the only one that actually kind of speaks some reality and some truth and not hide behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And he said that Dak Prescott has been awful. Don't matter what the stats say. And he said, I'm still waiting on Dak to take some accountability of those losses. I get it, you're a team, but a lot of those throws that you missed were on you. And when you're going to come up to that podium and speak on that. And then he also iterated that, there's no other quarterback to replace him, so you have to settle for Dak. And this is the type of stuff you're going to get. And just to touch on this, guys, and not to plug a thing or nothing, but after the show, I am making a video on some stats. So if you want to check that out, Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube. And won't tell you what it's about, but I'll just let you know it's stats. But Nick Eatman, he's right, and I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. It's interesting that Eatman says that. Like you said, he's the one that kind of speaks out more on it, and there's something to it. So yeah, $75 million. You definitely gotta elevate. There's a lot of conversation in Twitter and everything as far as like, is he elevating the team? Is he elevating the people around him? Is he more Cam? Is he more Russell Wilson? Can he be Aaron Rodgers? So there's a lot of conversation, and all this happens when you lose. So the Cowboys got to get on the winning side of the ball, because winning does a lot of curing. So let's get that win under our belt. Eric Montoya, good to see you in the chat box. 100% our offense needs to stay on the field. Our D has played way too many snaps in the past few losses. Right on, bro. Like that's so true, man. And just imagine if you had a fresher defense. I think those takeaways and turnovers will start coming again. Like, we haven't had as much lately, right? Because you're freaking gassed out, and they're rotating more players out there to try to keep fresh legs. Charboy, Joe, if we fall flat on our face after this game, then we should move on from LVE, Lyle, etc. Yeah, I mean, if you fall on your face on this game, it definitely raises a big question as far as like, what is this team going to be? Are we now fighting just for the NFC East? Are we going to be one of these one and done teams again? Would this be a successful season going from 6-10 to, 9 and whatever, or 10 and whatever? So yeah, this game, you got to win it. You got to win it. As far as like who you move on from, LVE or Lyle, that'll be discussed at the end of the season. But, I think the writing's on the wall for some of these guys. You know what I mean? I think you look at LVE, they didn't pick up his contract, Mike, his 5th-year option. Lyle, look, I think McCarthy is just fed up with him. You know what I mean? He's come out and said that Terrence Steele has earned the position. And I think that once he comes back from COVID, he's probably going to go back at starting role. So, I mean, what's your take on some of these players, Mike, at the end of the year possibly?
Yeah, LV, it's so funny because, Joe, we're at the draft when LV got cut. And when he was drafted, you could hear the people in the stadium cheer how quiet it was outside, right? And
yeah.
And a lot of Cowboy fans were coming after a lot of us who disagree with the pick, and was like, he's going to be the next Brian Urlacher. This guy, he had one good year, and they're trying to, make us eat crow. And I'm not going to eat crow. He's still young. He has a lot to learn, and the pick just hasn't been what we expected. Like
Yeah.
it has been what we expected. Health issues, neck issues. He had flare-ups in the neck. He broke his collarbone. We knew that stuff was going to happen, and we didn't want to risk that liability, and that's why we didn't agree with the pick. But I think with D-Law coming back, I think you'll see Micah Parsons play a lot more linebacker, and so that's going to help the run game. That's going to help a lot of. Micah Parsons ain't the best in covered situations, but just the impact that he has close to line of scrimmage is definitely going to help the running game.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to help the running. And I think, like I said earlier, I think that's where they're going to try to attack us in the running game and, try to open it up, for the receivers. But I think if you shut that down, Taysom Hill's not a very good quarterback at all. That's why you have to win this game. Taysom Hill, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's got a bum foot, all right, so he's not going to be as mobile. So you might see more shotgun from him, more read option, try to keep the defense, off keel. But you can't lose to Taysom Hill, man. You can't lose to him. I mean, you've got your starting corners are out there, your starting safeties are out there. You got D-Law back, so you lose to Taysom Hill, and I'm just gonna be like, dude, anything is possible. Anything will be possible. I will be pissed to the maximum level that my veins gonna start popping over here. The heartbeat. When you get real mad, you can feel your heartbeat in certain parts of your body.
Joe, I feel that every time the Cowboys lose. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that'll be me. Mario Flores, good to see you in the chat box, bro. Yeah, I swear if Greg the Peg misses more kicks and costs us more points in games, I'm going to lose my shit. Yeah, man. I've been calling for him to get the heck out of here. And this is one area, Mike, that really annoys the crap out of me. And I feel like it's the good old boy philosophy here. Fossil bringing in his guys. He's going to keep them even if they screw up. And Greg the Peg Leg Zerline is unreliable. And that momentum is a real thing. If you miss a field goal, then here it goes. The defense has to get back on the field after moving the ball. Your offense moves the ball down the field. You miss a field goal. It's deflating. It takes the momentum off. So, Mario, I'm with you on that. Mike, what do you think about Greg the Peg Leg?
It's so interesting how a kicker can make 3 extra points, bam, right down the middle. Greg the Legs kick, he scares me every time he kicks because that ball's to the left uprights, the right uprights. Like, it's so scary.
Yeah.
And
it is.
The guy that we signed replaced him when he had COVID or whatever what happened, right down the middle every time. And as a special teams coordinator, on Will McClay, on Stephen Jones, the guys that make the personnel moves, they know better than this. Bones Fossil can't be here for 2 years and carry that big of a stick.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think he does, because if he didn't, Greg the Peg Leg would be gone.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to reevaluate that. You know what I mean? I think he's on limited time right now. I like this question here, this comment here, Ron G. Is Ceedee Lamb really a number 1 receiver? I don't see him over or passing over Cooper, right? So, I've said this as well. That I don't think he's quite there yet. You know what I mean? I think he's a really solid number 2 to a number 1 receiver. He's a very, very good complementary player to a number 1, which is Amari Cooper. And that's why when Cooper's out, they've lost. 0-2. Can't do crap. And Ceedee Lamb got his shot and didn't do anything in some of those games, and then got hurt in the other one with the concussion. So, I think he still needs some more time. I think another year, maybe 2, but then you're talking 3 years in the league. You better be a number 1 receiver by then, right? So, Mike, how are you feeling about Ceedee Lamb? Will he ever be a number 1 receiver for the Cowboys?
It's really hard to say. We're talking about a second-year player that has really high expectations. Is he still developing? And 2, that was Ceedee Lamb's very small, but he could contest the ball at any point when the ball's in the air. But it separates, and you made a great point. Being a complementary to Amari Cooper, who is a true number 1, and I don't think Lamb is just a complimentary receiver. I think once he develops and he gets a little bit more muscle and he tunes up his route running, I really think that he can be a number 1 wide receiver. But a second-year player that has the high expectations that the Cowboy Nation set. When he was drafted, 40 burger this, 40 burger that. You're not seeing the 40 burger now. It's like, what is Ceedee Lamb? What, you know what I'm saying? Let the kid develop.
Yeah.
Let him keep getting his rapport with Dak, because he didn't get that last year. He missed a lot of games with Dak Prescott, right? Let him get that rapport with Dak, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not ruling it out yet. I think the potential's there, but I think Cowboy Nation needs to appreciate the big plays that he makes and quit trying to label something that somebody's not ready for yet.
Yeah, that's super good right there, Mike. Not much else I can say to that. I agree with that 110%, bro. Like, you hit it on the head with that, because you're right. He didn't have that many plays with Dak last year. That's a really good point. So yeah, I think that definitely he's not a number one right now, right?
Not right now.
And to put the pressure on him while Amari's out, it's, I wouldn't say it's unfair, but it's kind of, I don't know if it's realistic, right? You want him to be that, but he's clearly not there yet. And like you said, Mike, the biggest part is the route running part. He's worked on it, he's improved on it, but still needs more work on that. And like you said, the rapport, the route running, he'll get there, and I think that he could be that. You know what I mean? So it's a great conversation, Ron G. Appreciate you in the chat box. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Ron.
Marvelin Group, Coop is going to break a big play in the Saints game, at least one. That's all we need. At least one, but more would be greatly appreciated, right? But it might be one of those things where they catch them. You know what I mean? So, like, I remember there was one game where Coop came off the field. He had a hamstring. I don't know what the heck it was, and then he came back like on a final drive. They slept on him, started burning him. So maybe they do that in this game. You know what I mean? Maybe, he has that kind of situation where he burns them on a play. So hopefully.
Amari Cooper's just a veteran. He knows his body. He knows his limits. And you can't sleep on a guy like Amari Cooper. And it's just, I'm glad he's a Cowboy, because he's really, really special.
Yeah, that's your Ferrari. You talk about Ferraris. He's the legit Ferraris. The other guys are good sports cars, but he is the real deal Holyfield, right now. So, and he opens up things for the other receivers. So hopefully, even if he's out there, he can take away. If they go man coverage, somebody's gonna get their play. You know what I mean? So, a good conversation to have indeed. Great conversation indeed. Somebody had a comment here. Michael Autry. Dallas Cowboys for life? Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, man.
PC. 4L.
I want to get your guys' take on the Tristan Hill suspension, right? I want to ask everybody in the chat box right now. The Tristan Hill suspension, originally it was 2 games. They reduced it to 1 game. So thankfully we get him back for the Washington game. I thought he had a really low-key, pretty good game against the Raiders. You know what I mean? He did a good job in the trenches, I felt. And I thought, it's a player that has really – it looks like he has potential here, under Dan Quinn. But, Mike, what's your thought on the suspension? Was it are you glad to see him – stand up for himself and, just not take crap from people? Or what's your thoughts on it, everybody?
So I think it was Max Crosby. He had an angle of it, and the NFL is trying to say that Tristan Hill was the aggressor. There's a video of the guard. I don't know who he punched. I can't think of the guy's name. But there's a video of the guard coming up to him, chesting him up. And we know Tristan Hill has an aggressive background. Look, he had at Florida State. He had big disagreements with the coach. He has an attitude, and I've met Tristan Hill. I've talked to him. Fabulous guy. Don't let this, think that it's going to tarnish his character. I've met Tristan Hill, a great guy, and I think the NFL got it wrong, Joe. Just to simplify the answer here, the NFL got it wrong. He was not the aggressor. He was not the guy that started everything. It's just the NFL target. There's videos of Trent Williams punching Richard Sherman without a helmet. He had an $8,000 fine. Kadarius Toney locked and loaded his glove, threw the punch at DeMonte KZ. He missed, but the intent The
Hmm.
intent was there to slobber knock them.
Yeah.
No suspension, a fine, Joe. When you wear a star on your helmet, and when your owner's name is Jerry Jones, who countered to the NFL and won $75 million, who started brand deals, who started the NFL from a nonprofit to a profit organization, he has a big target on his back. He helped the team move to L.A. He helped the Raiders move to Vegas. Jerry Jones was a big part of that. He's a Hall of Famer. And for the NFL to treat the Cowboys this way, when the Cowboys get the most views, the most merchandise sales, all the above, you name it. That's why it's America's team. They're the most talked about, they're the most hated, they're most loved. And for the NFL to treat the Cowboys like this, it's not an excuse. It's wrong, and the NFL should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I thought the suspension was bull crap. I mean, it's after the game as well. You know what I mean? It just happened to have it like, a video surfaced of it. But like you said, there's other angle out there, and it suggested otherwise. So for me, I'm on board. I'm behind Tristan Hill on that. I have no problem with that. I like to see that type of grit from players. Actually, you know what I mean. I don't want to see these guys get pushed around and not do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, great point there, because when the video first came out, I put out a tweet, Tristan Hill, you got to represent the star better than that. And then I got the more facts, and I'm glad he did it.
Yeah,
I'm glad he did
Josh Simpson was. Yeah, John
You
Simpson.
start some, you're going to get some. I like that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good indeed. Very good indeed. Yeah, Goodell. I'm not a fan of him at all, bro.
Who would, dude?
Yeah,
Who
that
that
guy.
man?
That guy there. How about getting back Cooper, D Lamb, D Long, getting Collins at right tackle? Yeah, it's gonna help. Getting Cooper back. He's still listed as questionable though, so there's no guarantee. He is activated from the protocol, so I think you know I think he's gonna be more of a decoy because he did legit get COVID, so he had the symptoms. You lose some weight, you're gonna lose some energy, vitamins, minerals, this kind of crap. So I don't expect him to have a full blown, his normal, snap count. You know what I mean? But when he's out there, I think it's definitely going to help out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Amari Cooper being on the field is a plus for Michael Gallup, for Ceedee Lamb, for Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. The refs, Mike, this comment here, Ty Condy, refs hate the Cowboys too. Yeah, that last game was just so egregious. It just looked like, there was an edict, you know, from Goodell or somebody like, hey, dude, put the screws to these guys in this game. And I know the Raiders got their share of it too, but I mean, the Cowboys, I mean, damn, it really screwed us on some touchdowns that got called back, some big splash plays that got called back, huge plays for them to move the ball down the field. Jerry called it throw up ball, right? Just throw the ball up there, you get a penalty. So, I think the Cowboys on their part, if they see the game going that kind of way in the future, do it too. Throw the ball up there too, and see if they call it. Because they call it on us. Do it too. So, win the game in whatever means necessary. If it's the Cowboys versus the Saints and refs, throw that ball up there too. You know what I mean? Move the ball down the field if you got to do it. If that's what it takes, do it too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I don't ever blame a lot of the losses on the refs.
Yeah,
I think I've done it maybe once, but I never do it, because if you execute your play and you do it right, you can't hold. And there were some holding controversial calls, right? The illegal shift that was on Tyron Smith wasn't Tyron Smith's fault. It was on the wide receiver, because he wasn't backed off the line of scrimmage, because Tyron Smith was lined up on the line of scrimmage. A lot of those penalties, the refs are going to call them, whether they hate the Cowboys or not. But when you keep getting penalties and you keep getting penalties, they start to pile on. And the refs are probably smiling. I've seen a comment, the refs are smiling. because the Cowboys aren't executing. Like, what the hell do they do? This is the number one offense coming in here, and you're getting 28 penalties. You know what I'm saying? So it's really up to the Cowboys. Line up right, don't hold. Turn your head as much as you can, and let the facts play out. And if they do that, and it seems like there's a ref bounty on the Cowboys, it's going to come to life. It's going to come to life. And I want the Cowboys to be rewarded with 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take that, man. I think that's it for this show tonight, guys. We like to run on Tuesdays, but sometimes things come up, so that's why we moved it to tonight, and it just kind of became more of a pre-game for tomorrow night's game. So, yeah, man, I'm hoping that we come out of this with a win, and I would like it to be decisively. I hope it doesn't come down to a kick or a late fourth quarter heroics. I want us to be like a legit. We took care of business, and we're gonna win the East, and we're gonna be in the hunt for the number 1 seed. You know what I mean? So anything outside of that is unacceptable, in my opinion. I don't like excuses. So win the game. You win the game, Mike. Any final thoughts before we cut out, Mike?
No. Again, I'll be making a video. I don't know when it's going to drop, but it probably will drop tonight, guys. And so follow that, Cowboys Corner. And it's going to be an interesting game. Mike McCarthy's not there. Joe Philbin's not there. Dan Quinn's going to be doing the head coaching duties. And so it's going to be real interesting to see how this game plays out. And hopefully Cowboys can get their act together and go get it done. I don't care if we win by a half a point. They gotta go win this game. Obviously that's not possible, but I'm just exaggerating. Like I don't care if they win if it's fantasy and you lose .002. I want the Cowboys to go in there and go win. Seriously, the excuses got to stop for this franchise, from the fan base, and we need to start having winning mentality. Losers accept losing, Joe.
No, that's facts. What it is, right there, bro. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, I've been pissing a lot of people off on Twitter. You can follow that trend _Cowboys Corner on Twitter, and Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, guys.
Very good, very good. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Frisco Report. We really appreciate you. Tune in tomorrow night after the game for my post game. Hopefully, like I said, we get the win, and let's make a run for the playoffs, everybody. All right, but that's all we have tonight. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace.
On one side, but that guy on the other.